Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In today's episode, we want to have a look at the possibility of a NATO operation designed to threaten and or capture Kaliningrad. Now, we have seen other content providers discuss the possibility that if a general war were to erupt between Russia and the West, either NATO in its entirety or elements of those Western nation states that are now hostile to the Russian Federation. Would there be an operation possibly conducted by Poland, the United States, the United Kingdom, France? If a shooting war erupted, would we see an operation against Kaliningrad? Would we see NATO combat brigades, specifically Polish, U.S., possibly Lithuanian, trying to enter and capture Kaliningrad? So it's not a very big oblast of the Russian Federation. Obviously, formerly East Prussia during the German Empire and after, till post-World War II. The population is roughly 500,000 people. This area has prospered. It sees essentially a 15 to 10% growth rate per year, which is fairly high when you compare and contrast other Russian oblasts. Fairly high standard of living in this area as well. But would the West conduct an operation to seize control of Kaliningrad in an attempt to encircle and destroy Russian forces in this, what is believed to be, a pocket? Now, the short answer is they could try. They would be able, meaning they, Western forces, would be able to destroy many of the air bases that are in Kaliningrad. The ability of Russian aircraft to take off and conduct air missions over Kaliningrad would be very quickly removed by both air defense systems based in Poland, based in Lithuania, naval assets in the Baltic Sea. But the Russians would still retain a very significant air defense capability in and around Kaliningrad. Furthermore, we would probably see a very large Russian ground operation, both coming from Belarus and Russia proper, designed to take control of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Again, it's difficult to compare and contrast what is happening in Ukraine versus a Russian operation against Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. The Russian operation against Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania would be much more rapid and probably much more successful than operations seen in Ukraine. Remember, the Ukrainian military was essentially the largest ground force in Western Europe. The Ukrainian army was bigger than that of both Germany and France, and to some extent even the United Kingdom combined. The Ukrainians had a very large and very well-equipped military going in to the initial Russian invasion. I'm talking post 2014. Prior to 2014, obviously, the Ukrainian military was a shadow of what it eventually became. Population. The population of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania is much smaller in terms of density and size of cities than what you see in Ukraine as well. So at what first looks like to be a pocket surrounded by NATO countries, Lithuania, Poland, would very quickly become essentially part of an area that would be completely occupied by Russian forces. Again, I don't believe that Kaliningrad would remain an isolated pocket separated from a land corridor from Russia proper. I think very quickly, again, this is if the balloon goes up and we see general war between Western nations and Russia. If that happens, and we see a direct attack against Kaliningrad by Poland, by the United States, then all hell's going to break loose. You're going to see tens of thousands of Russian forces enter the Baltic states very quickly. You're also going to see, even prior to that, a general mobilization in Russia. It will be massive and unprecedented. And to make matters worse, if there appears to be success, meaning Kaliningrad is being threatened with direct military occupation by the Western powers, the Russians are going to use tactical nuclear weapons. It's going to go nuclear. So could it happen? Yes, absolutely. And it would be part of a much wider war. Again, we don't believe hostilities would be simply focused in Ukraine and Kaliningrad. You would see naval operations taking place all over the globe. And in all likelihood, you would see China, you would see Iran, you would see North Korea. It would truly become a global conflagration, a third world war. The Baltic Sea, in and of itself, would quickly become very difficult to operate in because of Russian anti-ship missiles. So, could the West besiege Kaliningrad? Probably for a short period. Would they be successful in taking control of Kaliningrad? No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. And ultimately, we would see a very large and widespread global war. Have a good day.